HQ presents The Emerald Comb by Kathleen Mcgurl, read by Sophie Roberts and David Thorpe.
Prologue. Kingsley House, North Kingsley, Hants, November 1876. To my dearest son, Barty Sinclair. This is my confession. I am the only soul still living who knows the truth. It will pain me to write this story, but write it I must before I depart this life. I have not long to live, and I fear death. Heaven will not be my final resting place. Dear Barty, when you have read this in its entirety, you will understand why I know I am destined for that other fiery place, to burn with guilt and shame for all eternity. You must read this alone, sitting in the worn red armchair by the fireside in the drawing-room of Kingsley House, or perhaps you will sit in my study at my old walnut desk. Wherever you choose, have a glass of whisky to hand to fortify yourself. You will need it. Read this only after I am dead, after I am buried. Read this and understand why you must never sell Kingsley House. You must live in it until the end of your days, guarding its secrets, as I have. Tell no one the contents of this confession, not even your brother William, especially not your brother William. It would grieve him, he who worshipped his mother and believed she could do no wrong, even more than it will grieve you. You will understand this when you have reached the end of my story. Destroy this document when you have read it. You must carry the shameful secret with you as I have done, but at least you will not also carry guilt. There. I have written an introduction, but I must rest before I begin my story. Bear with me, my dearest son, while I recoup the strength I need to write this sorry tale. Your ever-loving, repentant father, Bartholomew Sinclair.
Chapter 1. Hampshire, November 2012. The weather matched my mood. A dark, low sky with a constant drizzle falling meant I needed both headlights and wipers on as I drove up the M3. Whenever I'd pictured myself making this trip, I'd imagined myself singing along to the car radio beneath blue skies and sunshine. The reality, thanks to a row with my husband Simon, couldn't have been more different. All I'd asked of him was to look after our kids for a single Saturday afternoon, while I went to take some photos of Kingsley House, where my ancestors had once lived. Not much to ask, was it? I'd planned it for weeks, but of course he hadn't listened, and had made his own plans to go to rugby training. Then, when it was time for me to leave, he'd made such a fuss. I'd ended up grabbing my bag and storming out, leaving him no choice but to stay and be a parent for once, while the kids watched wide-eyed. Perhaps that's unfair of me. He's a wonderful parent, and we have a strong marriage most of the time. It was a half-hour drive from our home in Southampton to North Kingsley, a tiny village north of Winchester. Just enough time to calm myself down. Funny thing was, if I'd wanted to do something girly like go shopping or get my nails done, Simon would have happily minded the kids. But because I was indulging my hobby, my passion for genealogy, he made things difficult. I loved researching the past, finding out where my family came from. Simon's adopted. He's never even bothered to trace his biological parents. God, if I was adopted, I'd have done that long ago. I can't understand why you wouldn't want to know your ancestry. It's what makes you who you are. The rain had eased off. I'd calmed down and was buzzing with excitement when I finally drove up the narrow lane from the village and got my first glimpse of Kingsley House. Wet leaves lay clumped together on its mossy gravel driveway. Paint peeled from the windowsills, and the brickwork was in need of repointing. An overgrown creeper grew up one wall, almost obscuring a window.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?